It is Sunday night. It's time for Big Play Breakdowns. We welcome in Mike Robinson. Mike, Rob, thanks for coming in.
Hey, it's Sunday. It's college football, NFL football, but most importantly, the Big Play Breakdown.
Yeah, we're 2 weeks away from the NFL.
Yeah.
College football starts in earnest this coming week, and we're already in week 3 of the high school football season. Week 2, the big storyline for Northwest Ohio, Perrysburg putting a hurting on the Findlay Trojans. Connor Walendzak well deserved a lot of attention, but as Napoleon was famous for saying, an army marches on its belly. Football teams march on the bellies of their offensive linemen.
And you know what? And you got to feed the big fellas up front. And you know what? And how you do it, you get the ball to your best players so they can go do what they do. Road grade. So let's just take a look right into this thing. Taking a look here. This is one of the biggest plays of the night. It's a screenplay, but you know, not the one you go see at the theater, the one you go see on BCSN Nation or BCSN when you're tuning in. And we're going to see a lot of this guy for the rest of the season and for the future to come. Let's take a look and see what happened on this play. You got the 3 interior linemen. Give these guys some love. You got Moore, Oakley, and Falkenstein heading up and doing an excellent job. One thing you see here, TJ Tackett is one of the best at this. Look at the screenplay right here. He backs up, gives enough space, but take a look at Moore and company. These guys are destroying defensive backs and linemen, just carnage everywhere. Luke Montgomery chasing the play. But did you see Moore with a big pancake block, freeing up Walendzak to be able to get to the outside and get a nice touchdown right there? Take a look again. We're still here in the first quarter and still making big plays, breaking ankles, man-to-man coverage. You got to get in the weight room. You got to get stronger if you're going to take that man down. Connor Walendzak quit baseball because of this reason right here. But these 2 receivers on the outside make sure things happen. You got to take a look at Hunt, and you got to take a look at Bohr. They run the route. It looked like Bohr thought he was going to catch that slant, but it's a really good job right there to catch it hot. He saw the blitz, found his man. Quick action there by Connor Walendzak. He did a beautiful job of finishing the play. That is our big play breakdown, and Perrysburg is breaking down everybody.
Yeah, Connor Walendzak, 5 touchdowns in that win over Findlay, over 300 yards of offense. The Jackets finally play a home game this coming Friday as they will take on the St. John's Titans, who are still looking for win number 1. I don't think it was that surprising Perrysburg beat Findlay, but the way they took it to the Trojans, particularly in that first quarter, set the tone for that game.
I mean, I think it was surprising, Mark. I was surprised to see what happened in that game because I thought Findlay was going to be able to bounce back from what they happened in week 1, and then you saw Perrysburg slip in week 1. So both of these teams were definitely into an intense battle, but Connor Walendzak proved he is a tier above the rest, and TJ Tackett's name needs to be mentioned with the top quarterbacks in this area.
Now, one of the ongoing storylines throughout this season, the final year for the track, several of those track schools will go in the NLL, and so far, the NLL has had their way with the track this year.
I mean, you're not lying. I mean, you got good coaching in the NLL. These guys understand their players. They understand their scheme. And you know what? You can get away with these games earlier. I like to see these matchups later in the season when you got more film on your opponent. But you tip your hat because this NLL league next year is going to be super. It's probably going to be one of the best leagues in the state.
Let's talk about another one of the surprise teams this year, Southview. They're 2-0. That's not the surprise. No. Scoring 70 points a game, that's the surprise.
I mean, when you got over 140 points in 2 weeks and your opponents got only 7, I mean, you're outscoring guys and you're playing great football. I don't think they expected to come out this hot. But this is a young football team. They only got a handful of seniors. They got a lot of girth up front, and they're doing a really good job. Now, mind you, let's be serious, right? They're playing against some teams that have some depth issues. But you know what? This is still good for their program, and if they can continue to score like this, I don't know. I think coach is going to lose his head because, I mean, they scoring on kick returns, punt returns, on offense. But when they get into a real football game, you know, when they got to go 4 quarters, I think this is going to be exciting to see what kind of team they're really made of.
They've got Brush this weekend. That's one of the great nicknames of Ohio high school football, the Brush Arcs. Let's talk about Thursday. We've got Ottawa Hills playing Evergreen on Thursday. That game originally scheduled for Friday. They had to move it up a day because of a lack of officials. Hopefully that's not going to be a trend. It's starting to be one, but Ottawa Hills are off to a 2-0 start, and there is some talent on Chris Hardman's team.
I mean, they got McCaffrey. I mean, they're not the one down there with the Panthers, but he gets it done. And then you also look at A.J. George. He is a tier of that league. He's the best player, in my opinion. He gets it done, and you can put him at any position. I think he could play left tackle if you wanted him to. You know, he does everything. He may be able to coach and call the plays, but also you got to look at Emilio Duran. Their kicker gets it, you know, and he understands that he can kick them from 40 yards out, 50 yards out. Not that they really need him. He just kicking extra points because their offense is so effective and they get down the field and they score. So you got to give a shout out to the Ottawa Hills line and what they're doing over there with that program.
Yeah, we know Emilio Duran's getting D1 looks,
Yes.
picked up a preferred walk-on offer from Miami just this past weekend. So that's certainly something to keep an eye on. We know we saw him last week at Game Day Nation tailgate as part of the top recruit segment. So another one of the top recruits in the area. Our top recruit every Friday, every Sunday, Tuesdays on College Football Weekly as well. Mike Robinson, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Mark.